Golf Central. Brought to you by Titleist.
In final day singles competition at the Ryder Cup last fall, Ryan Moore defeated Lee Westwood. His victory turned out to be the clinching point as the United States defeated Europe for the first time since 2008. Moore was named to the team a week earlier as the final captain's pick by Davis Love III. For 2018, the qualification and selection process will be different. For instance, here's the 2018 selection process. The 8 automatic qualifiers will now come after the PGA Championship. In comparison to 2016, those 8 automatic qualifiers were named after the first FedEx Cup playoff event. 3 captain selections will now come at the Dell Technologies Championship or after the Dell Technologies Championship at TPC Boston. And then the final captain selection will follow the BMW Championship, not the Tour Championship as in 2016. On Wednesday, U.S. Captain Jim Furyk explained why he made the change compared to last year.
It's similar to what Davis did. We had a little different timing with the Olympics, with where the PGA Championship was, with where the points ended, but very similar. And Davis waited a couple weeks, took 3 picks, and then waited for the Tour Championship and took 1 pick. It's obvious that we can't wait till after the Tour Championship to take a pick. We have passports, travel to Europe, and I feel like the timing, we probably want to get it done a little earlier and not put those guys through that at the Tour Championship again. I think it's wise as well for the captains to be discussing pairings in that the night before we leave rather than who our next captain's pick is going to be. But it allows me to, one, I think, evaluate. It gives me 3 weeks and at least 2 events, the first 2 playoff events, to identify 3 players that I'd like to add to the team. It gives them 3 more weeks and 2 more tournaments at BMW and the Tour Championship for those folks to bond with the team, to play more practice rounds, to go to dinner, to basically be together.
That is Jim Furyk, the U.S. Ryder Cup captain at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, where he will tee it up this week for the first time on the PGA Tour in 2017. Thanks for teeing up with us here on Golf Central. Todd Lewis with this great cast here. Of course, to my far left, Tim Rosefort, Trip Eisenhower. They are regular contributors here. We have a special distinguished guest in Justin Leonard, of course, a major champion and a 3-time member of the United States Ryder Cup team. Who can forget what happened in Brookline in '99? I want to get your reaction to Jim Furyk's different selection process with the different dates that you heard today.
I think a lot of it with Jim is about some logistics. Ryan Moore wasn't chosen until the week before the Ryder Cup. Pretty easy to get a flight up to Minnesota. A little harder to get over to France, get uniforms and his family, things like that. But also, I think Jim wants to get this team together as quickly as he can so he can really start forming bonds, thinking about pairings, just putting those types of things together.
And, you know, the reason why they delayed the pick till after the Tour Championship was really Billy Horschel. And you look at how well he played, and everybody thought he should have been part of that team in 2014. Look, this is still going to capture good play in the playoffs, which is what this is about. It's just 1 week earlier they're making that final pick. So Jim's going to have a good look at those players. And again, Justin, as you said, great point about getting the team together more often, starting to work on some pairings, who plays well together, an alternate shot, different things like that. More time like that, more time bonding off the golf course, all good things. And this is part of, you know, the continuity now of the task force. I know there was a lot of hoopla around the task force, but the thing the Europeans had was continuity from team to team and captain to captain. I think this is part of that now, and Jim's just tweaking it just a little bit. This isn't a huge deal.
Strategically and logistically, it does make sense, especially with the away game overseas. The irony, of course, is that the guy who had the winning point wouldn't have made the team under these circumstances. Now, in a 6-point win, is a winning point that dramatic? Certainly not dramatic, but he did have a good week. He went 2-1, and you take him because he takes out Rory McIlroy in the Tour Championship. I'm just wondering when we get to 2020, guys, if the committee reverse tweaks it, to use a different phrase, and goes back to the other format, which is after the Tour Championship. We got 4 years before we get to that point.
There was another tweak announced by Jim Furyk today as well, and that is the qualification points. In 2018, 2 points will be earned for every $1,000 earned in major championships for the winners only. 1.5 points per $1,000 earned in major championships for players who make the cut at a major. Furyk's logic for the change, pretty simple.
The major championship purses are so large, and we thank them for that very much. But we're looking at $10 and $10.5 million purses in the major championships. When you double the points in those events, you in effect make a $20.5, $21 million purse. They in effect become weighted triple or a little more than a PGA Tour event. So when I looked at the finishes, if you finish third in a major championship, you earn more points than a winner in a PGA Tour event. And I really value winning. I want the guys that hit shots down the stretch, that have the guts, the fortitude, the game to win golf tournaments. And I find winning very, very important. And so winning a PGA Tour event with a strong field, to me, is more important than finishing third at a major championship.
And Jim Furyk, known as one of the more cerebral players on the PGA Tour, I think this is a smart move. I like it. What's your take?
I do too. I like all the things that are happening here. Jim even alluded in his press conference about he finished second, tied for second at Oakmont, and it almost got him on the Ryder Cup team. I don't think he wants it to come down one tournament. I think he wants it to be, culmination of a good season, maybe some good play in 2017 in particular events, but really he wants to look at the whole thing, and as he said, he wants winners.
Yeah, winning's so important, and the majors ramping up that. The majors are way more important, and of course current year play is always more important. You get more points in the current year of the Ryder Cup than the other years. So winning is always huge, and winning a regular PGA Tour event sometimes, as Jim said, might be discounted a little bit with the way it was weighted before. I think Jim corrected this in the right way.
Never thought of Jim as that much of a guy who's into the metrics and analyzing it on this level, but it sort of plays to what he showed behind the scenes at the team room up at Hazeltine with this whiteboard that he was drawing numbers and putting together teams and trying to break it down that way. And it's really just an extension of that. That's something his father used to do with him when he was actually deciding what college to go to, how to play certain golf courses, and it's certainly playing out here. Again, it'll be interesting to see, how it plays out when we get to that point 2 years down the road. You don't know what those players are going to be in that format. They might be players who get hot and don't have any Ryder Cup experience, or they might be the type of player that you really want on your side, especially going over to France.
And let's not forget, too, he's also trying to play on the PGA Tour, and he's been considered one of the most consistent players all the years he's been out there. He may end up picking himself. I mean, I doubt he will.
He could make the team, though.
He could automatically qualify for the team as well. We'll just have to wait and see. We do have some other news. The 2022 Ryder Cup, scheduled to be held in Rome, may go somewhere else after the president of the Italian Senate stripped away an amendment to a bill that would have guaranteed $103 million for the event. So now organizers must find a new way to raise money or possibly lose the Ryder Cup. Rome has also pulled out its 2024 Olympic bid last fall because of cost concerns as well. All right, let's jump to this week's stop on the PGA Tour. Several victorious U.S. Ryder Cup team members from Hazeltine in the field, including Dustin Johnson, who could become #1 in the world with a victory, and Jason Day finishing outside the top 52. Can Phil Mickelson win here for the fifth time? Last year's runner-up and four-time champion, seeking his first worldwide victory since winning the Open in 2013. Weather, a big story on the Monterey Peninsula. After almost a half an inch of rain fell yesterday, there is a 100% chance of rain tomorrow at Pebble. Ugh. So it will be a wet and wild week on the Monterey Peninsula. Our Chantel McCabe has been slogging around covering all the great storylines at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. She joins us live. Chantel, I wouldn't say #1 Jason Day is in a slump, but he doesn't have his best right now. What's his mindset heading into Pebble?
Yeah, Todd, well, Jason Day began his PGA Tour season missing the cut at the Farmers Insurance Open. As you mentioned, nasty weather here in Pebble Beach. Over the last 6 weeks, an accumulation of 10 inches of rain, including this week. So Jason spent 2 hours working on his putting and chipping alone in order to prepare for this weather. He did not play a practice round today, but he says he's prepared for tomorrow and to hit the reset button after January.
Obviously, it wasn't the way I wanted to start, on the mainland, and obviously with Tiger back and our whole group missing the cut wasn't obviously the way we wanted to start out. But I had some good practice, good prep coming into this week, and I feel like things are coming along and should be ready. Hopefully the weather can kind of stay away and we can get some nice sunshine. Coming off a 3-month stretch at the end of last year and playing Hyundai and then playing the Farmers, I haven't really played a lot of golf, and I just want to get back into golf mode, get back into competitive playing and try and get the right process mentally. I want to make sure that everything's firing come April, because that's a pretty big event coming up. They're all important, but I'm just trying to slowly improve each and every week.
From current world number 1 to former world number 1, current world number 6, Jordan Spieth. Since his win at the Australian Open, he has placed top 10 in every start since then, but he's looking for his first win here at Pebble Beach.
A lot of speed control work on the greens and around the greens, and then just some patience, recognizing that your strokes gained are not going to be the same kind of one-putt percentage that they are at other tournaments, recognizing that it's that way across the board. The field's all typically going to struggle a little more on these greens than they do somewhere else, especially when they're wet. They're going to be a bit bumpy. And we know that going in. It's just the type of grass it is and the weather that we've had. So it's just a matter of patience. That's what I'm focusing on.
Jordan will be playing with his friend and country music star, avid golfer Jake Owen. The two have played several rounds in the past together. And Jordan said that Jake is a positive influence on his game, especially encouraging him on the greens. We'll have to see if that plays out this week at Pebble Beach. Back to you, Todd.
Chantel, thank you. A 5-hole celebrity challenge taking place today at Pebble, and Bill Murray, Andy Garcia, icons in this event each and every year on the celebrity front. First hole, this is Clay Walker winning $20,000 for Band Against MS. Really nice job Pebble Beach doing out there. We're going to go out to the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am $1 Million hole-in-one for charity presented by Facebook, and this is Colt Ford, the country rapper.
Yeah, also known as Jason Brown, the former professional golfer who changed his name to Colt Ford.
Sticks it, but he didn't get the hole-in-one. Still a great shot by Colt Ford. Plenty to come on Golf Central, including words from Tiger Woods, who opened up from Dubai last week. Where does he think he fits on the global stage of golf right now? Tiger on the competition he's facing. Plus, we reveal some of the greatest moments in the AT&T Pebble Beach National Pro-Am. And did this fist bump make our list? And a great amateur and collegiate player returns to the PGA Tour for the first time in more than 2 years. We have Patrick Cantlay's difficult journey back as Golf Central continues.
Golf Central is brought to you by the new Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X. Choose the best for your game. GolfAdvisor.com Best of Lists. We didn't make the lists, you did.